Whom do you serve? Whom do you serve as executives, as leaders, as investors, innovators, advisors? Whom do you serve? The answer to this question was critical to London Business School's resilience during the pandemic. I'm offering you this question today because in my experience as a dean of London Business School, I've learned how it's essential not just to resilience, but to influence, to dominance, and eventually to thriving under disruption. Resilience first. When COVID hit at London Business School, we had to cancel so many student experiences. The classes on our campus in Dubai and in frustration, and even at times anger. In one of my meetings with our students, there was a representative who stood up and said, "Dean, it's on you to find the win-win." No. There was no win-win. I'm sure you experienced the same yourselves. This was a time of arbitrage of losses, dealing with allocating those losses, cutting costs, asking for salary sacrifices, and more. And at that time, having a clear answer to this question, whom do we serve, proved essential to guide our decisions and our efforts. And so the question is, at London Business School, whom do we serve? We are a charity, no owners, no shareholders. The governors, they come and go. The students, they do pay. They pay tuition to get a degree. But there's more to it, isn't it? I don't know if any student who has ever bought a degree from us to put it on the wall and bask in the glory of the framed diploma. Now, if you think about it from an economic perspective, at LBS, we have a monopoly power in the creation of LBS alumni. No one else can do that. And if you ask what is our most durable asset, it's also our alumni. Because once they're an alum for life. They cannot go to our competition and say, "I got a degree from London Business School, can I pay your alumni fees?" We're tied together. Their reputation is our reputation. As their dean, I wear a lapel pin, they might as well get a tattoo. So you see the response emerging. Whom do we serve? At LBS, it starts with our alumni. And that was essential during the pandemic for us to decide what to focus on. So, for example, when the pandemic hit and we had to go into lockdown in March 2020, we had 1,617 students who were on their way to graduate by July, to become alumni by July. So our efforts went all out to make sure that by July, they had done all their degree requirements. At the same time, we were recruiting the next class. We serve our alumni. So we kept our admissions process selective, even though we were under significant financial strain. Why? Because we need to uphold the reputation of our alumni. And then, of course, we learned very quickly during the pandemic that there were ways in which we could support our alumni during these difficult times with content and connections for the new normal we were in. And today, the answer to that same question, whom do we serve, is helping us grow our influence. Why? Because we've learned during the pandemic, it was actually quite a catalyst to help us understand how is it we can provide content and connection to help our alumni advance their careers, support their entrepreneurial ventures, and transform their organizations. Because our influence is their influence. And as an example, I'll use a local organization here in Delhi. Some of you might know Dharma Life. Dharma Life is dedicated to improving life in rural India by giving low-income households access to critical products and services. Dharma Life, Google them. Not now. But when you Google them, you will find out that they are very clear as to whom they serve. They serve a network of entrepreneurs whom they select, they train, they support to be change makers in their villages. And today, Dharma Life has a network of 17,500 entrepreneurs who are active in more than 50,000 villages across 14 states in India. That's influence. From influence to dominance, I'll get insight from another organization that is known to all of you in India, that is also led by an alumnus of London Business School. And that is the Aditya Birla Group, led by Kumar Mangalam Birla. I don't know if you know this, but he got an MBA from us in 1993, and shortly thereafter took over the group. And he's led the group with the same commitment to serving society that his great-grandfather imparted on him, Sri J.K. Birla. You might remember, some of you, from him, that he talked about, way before corporate social responsibility was something, he talked about ownership in trust of society, about entrepreneurs as custodians of societal wealth. And today, as his dean, when I see what Kumar is doing, I can't help but notice that he remains very much animated, fueled by this desire to do well for society, to serve society through high-performing businesses, educational institutions, and many philanthropic endeavors. So if that's resilience and influence and dominance, how I define thriving? Thriving is when those whom we serve, they join in to serve with us. And that linear path of resilience, influence, dominance becomes a self-reinforcing loop. Whom you serve joined in to serve with you. What would happen in your organization, or what is already happening in your organization, if those whom you serve are serving with you? At LBS, what you would see is our alumni helping us recruit students, participate in classes, host visits, and with their philanthropy, funding scholarships and innovation and research, and so many more. And there again, Kumar Birla is an example for us, because he funds one of our most generous scholarships for 10 bright minds from around the world to join our school every year. And he does it in the most beautiful way, with an endowment gift in the name of and in gratitude to his grandfather, B.K. Birla. And as Dean of LBS, I couldn't be more proud to be associated with this manifestation of gratitude of Kumar toward his grandfather. And there maybe lies inspiration to push my question one step further. Whom do you serve, and in gratitude to whom? And what I offer to you is that having a clear answer to this question can only help you with resilience, influence, dominance, and inspiring others to join in with you so that they thrive with you. Whom do you serve, and in gratitude to whom? As the Dean of LBS, I serve our employees, starting with my senior management team. And I'm grateful to them because they gave me the opportunity to be here today and go around the world and inspire current and future leaders of the world, people like you. Whom do you serve, and in gratitude to whom? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dean.
Thank you.
So, Dean Francois, that was a wonderful articulation of thriving under disruption by putting the focus on whom you serve. I'd like to look at disruption from our higher education and executive education standpoint. Now, as we know, higher education has been at the heart of a debate for a long time, pre-COVID, and now post-COVID, that debate is even sharper. And the debate is about the accessibility and affordability of excellence in higher education. Talk to us about how some of these new trends in higher education technology have disrupted schools like London Business School during and before COVID, and how you've coped and how you've thrived.
So you won't be surprised, I'll start from my question. So as a school, it's very clear how much our alumni value their network and the selectivity of it. And so for us, whom do we serve, is to take advantage of the disruption to use technology to serve them through the rest of their life. And to get ourselves into a position whereby at any point in time, we can give them those content and connections. So it's not like, on Amazon, they tell you, you bought this book, you might like that book. No, it's a lot more saying, given where you are today in your career, we think 2 years from now you'll be there. Here's how we can help you speed up the transition with content and with connection. The bigger trend, I think, that's at play in the world for all of us is because our lives have become longer, but the life of the organization has gotten shorter. So we will all live longer than our organizations anyway. And so this idea that you're born, you go to education, you work, you die, that's over. And what I see is happening, and you doing that yourself, is an opportunity for people to complement their education, not just with the big chunky things like degree programs, but over the course of their life, getting little bite size. And then the question is, who is going to do the curation? And you're trying to do that, and we're trying to do this for our alumni.
But how do you see innovation in higher education taking its course over the next few years? We've seen, companies like TimesPro come in, and become online program managers, bring you back consumer insight, take your excellence in bite-sized package to the learners. But how do you see the next decade of innovation and disruption?
So there's one element I can see, and you're an actor of it, and there's one, it's a big question for all of us. So what I can see is actors like you who are using technology and data and very soon, if not already, artificial intelligence to really bring great insight to the masses. And that's really important in a country like India, particularly because there's such motivation for education here that you want to make it available. So that I can see, and we're all actors of that one way or another, and being pushed in a way, the legacy schools, by innovators like you. What I don't see is, in this future world, who is going to support academic research? And that's a big problem, and I'll give you just one reason. Today, if I look at LBS faculty, we were ranked recently as the #2 faculty in the world for research on the Sustainable Development Goals. That's not because a few years ago our faculty or the dean said, do this. That's because we are faculty who care about impact. 15 years ago, they were working on some obscure mathematical issues about how do you model the short term versus the long term to understand sustainability. Thank goodness at the time, they had the freedom to do this. Who is tomorrow going to give the freedom to those selected individuals to explore obscure questions so that 15 years from now, we have academics who are relevant? And that to me is a big question for all of us as human beings, is who is funding fundamental research?
And to bring to your point about impact, you've written and spoken about the role of London Business School, and you've spoken in terms of a very catchy phrase called impact squared.
Impact squared,
Talk
yes.
about that a bit.
So what happened is, when I became Dean of LBS, we articulated our purpose as having a profound impact on the way the world does business. And as a new Dean, I went around the world and I met with our alumni, I listened to our faculty, to my colleagues, and I realized there was something missing in the sentence. Because people were not just worried about an impact on the way the world does business, but people were worried about the way business impacts the world. So in a speech I said, I think we are about having a profound impact on the way the world does business and on the way business impacts the world. So if you do the math of that sentence, a bit long, but it's about profound impact, and then it's profound impact on impact, that's impact squared. So that's what we're trying to do. Profound impact and impact squared. But I hope you understand that it is so important that business schools like ours worry about the impact business has on the world. And part of it is the conversation that we are having here.
And when it comes to impact, we cannot get away from that subject without talking about the impact of government on everything that we do in higher education. And in India, we've just gone through it.
The government just buzzed you.
But I think we'll take this one last question and then maybe open it up to the audience. In India now, we just have the new education policy. And the government is talking about opening up Indian shores to foreign universities and institutions such as yourself to come in and step up shop. So do we see LBS setting up shop quickly in India? What's your take on this?
So we are very focused on our strategies to serve our alumni. We do that from a London hub. We have about 1,000 alumni here. We can serve them from London. I had a delightful evening with them 2 nights ago here. So we have no plans to come in here. Can I say it was interesting to see this policy, particularly because in India there are amazing universities already. I mean, the evidence I have firsthand is the quality of the students who come from India into London Business School. So if I had the chance to say a word to the policymakers, I would encourage them to focus on, in India, research, get research to happen here. How do you fund that?
I think we'll take 2 questions from the audience.
What do you think is the overall feeling you have about these regulations and allowing foreign higher education institutions in India?
So I referred to our situation, and I've talked about the gap I see and the opportunity, which is to get research to happen in the country. I think it would be very important, particularly because the country is changing so fast. And frankly, I don't think it would take much to get researchers interested, because so much is happening here, and researchers care about their impact. If I were to push on your question and look at evidence I see from other countries in the world that have tried to bring in foreign institutions, yesterday someone mentioned the risk about copy-pasting. It's very difficult for foreign institutions to come in and be effective. And in particular, it's tough to convince your faculty to be there on a permanent basis and get engaged with the local community. So, we have invested in Dubai. We now have a good presence in the Middle East, and that's already plenty for us to manage, and we are committed to it. Here, I hope that you will find ways to do partnerships that help plug the gap. But the gap I see here is not one of educational technology or know-how how to run education, in particular how to run at scale. And the other thing I observe in India is often the disruption we experience, they come from you guys. So I don't know where that goes, but I hope that the legislation will facilitate that type of partnership, because there is something we can provide with regard to the research and the engines that we have. And then hopefully find a way to complement one another, because, for example, LBS, we are not in the position to do the kind of mass education that Indian providers can bring to the market. And maybe we can find partnerships in this way.
Right. So you're saying scale is something we know how to do best.
Sorry?
I said we know scale.
You know?
India knows scale is what
Well,
is.
yeah, I think so. Just look at the quality of the students you send to us. They're outstanding.
Oh.
They're outstanding. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Dean Francois.
Thank
I think
you.
our time is up. We need to carry on this conversation
Okay,
offline.
great. Thank you so much.
Thank you
everyone.
so much.
Thank you.